In the beginning was the scream, not the word. A silent, primal roar buried beneath centuries of obedience, of polite nods and crucified instincts. You feel it, don't you? That hunger that no god, no guru, no glittering market can fill. That ache behind your ribs, aching not for peace, but for power, not for love, but for the terror of becoming. Then listen, not with your ears, but with your scars. You are starving. Not for bread, not for fame, but for fire. The world has fed you ashes and called it nourishment. It sold you safety and called it salvation. But deep in the marrow of your being, something howls. It does not want to heal, it wants to break, to erupt, to transfigure. You were not born to be well-adjusted in a dying civilization. You were born to be a thunderclap, a rupture in the narrative. But they taught you to kneel before hollow altars, to worship the mediocre, to praise the cage. And now you wear chains of politeness, of career, of being nice, and call it maturity. But the lion within you sleeps and dreams of slaughter. Look around. This is not a society, it is a graveyard where the dreams of wild spirits rot in the name of productivity. Every man you pass is a temple abandoned by his own gods. He smiles, he shakes hands, he goes to meetings, but inside, his altar is cold, and his prayers are silent screams. His soul is not dead. It is buried alive beneath polite small talk and 5-year plans. Where is the storm? Where is the revolt against this coma? Where is the sacred defiance? I tell you this, most people are not evil, they are empty. Not damned, but domesticated. Their hunger has no name, because they were never told that it is holy to want more than comfort. And so they binge on distraction, worship images, obey algorithms, and call it progress. But you, yes, you, the one still listening, your suffering is not a flaw, it is a signal. Your restlessness is not a sickness, it is the revolt of the spirit against the tyranny of sleep. Do not sedate it. Do not counsel it. Let it burn. Let it guide you to the edge. The herd will call you mad. They will say you are selfish, unstable, dangerous. They will scream, "Why can't you just be normal?" And you must answer, "Because I was not born to kneel, I was born to dance on ruins." Instead, you must unlearn peace. You must relearn war. Not war against others, but war against the lie that says you must be less than you are. War against the myth of the fixed self. War against the quiet death called acceptance. No, you must become the sword that turns inward, the purifying fire, the beautiful catastrophe. Let them clutch their comfort. Let them drown in convenience. You must walk the rope above the abyss. You must go mad with clarity, drunk on vision, possessed by the demon of authenticity. For the one who has seen through the veil can never return to the play. The actor becomes the arsonist. The spectator becomes the storm. You will lose friends. You will lose approval. You will lose the soft lullaby of conformity. But what you gain, what you become, cannot be measured in the language of this world. You will become myth. Not a man, not a woman, but a force. A becoming. A lightning bolt carved into flesh. Ask yourself, when was the last time you howled? Not from pain, but from knowing? From tasting the blood of your own rebirth? You have slept long enough in the arms of the false shepherd. It is time to awaken as your own God. Yes, God. Not the old tyrant in the sky, but the divine blaze within the one they tried to shame into silence. You are not meant to find your place. You are meant to create it, like Prometheus stealing fire and laughing as the heavens burn. The angels fled this world long ago. What remains are beasts in suits, prophets in exile, and you. The rope walker, the exile, the flame that refuses to go out. Do not seek balance, seek eruption. Seek the annihilation of everything that no longer serves your highest becoming. Let mediocrity fear your name. Let comfort weep in your shadow. Let every day be a crucifixion and a resurrection. They will call you arrogant. They will call you deluded. They will say, "Who do you think you are?" And you must answer, "I am the becoming that terrifies your gods." Yes, you will stumble. You will bleed. You will shatter. But better to die in the battle for your soul than to live as a hollow echo of someone else's idea of virtue. What they call failure, you must call initiation. What they call madness, you must call the price of seeing. There is no arrival, only becoming. No heaven, only the forging of stars from the wreckage of identity. You were not made to be understood. You were made to unmake the world. So rise not gently, but violently. Not politely, but prophetically. Let your hunger become a hymn. Let your fury become a forge. And when the world asks, "Who lit this fire?" you must say, "I did, and I will not apologize." For the starving do not need bread, they need thunder. You were born into a cathedral of mirrors, each reflection screaming, "Be like me." And so the infinite was reduced to a selfie, the sacred became spectacle, and your birthright was traded for the comfort of being seen but never known. You are haunted not by ghosts but by algorithms. They shape your hunger, guide your gaze, sculpt your desire with the cold hands of consensus. But your soul was not made for consensus. It was forged for confrontation. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be undeniable. A fire that walks, a silence so pure it burns through all applause. Look into your own eyes deeper until the mask cracks, until the face becomes flame, until the lie you've called myself shatters under the weight of what you truly are. Do not seek meaning, bleed it. Rip it out of the throat of existence. Carve it into stone with the blade of your becoming. Meaning is not found. It is created through agony and joy, through solitude so deep it echoes, through love so raw it terrifies. Let every breath be a rebellion against explanation. For those who explain do not live, they categorize. And have you not noticed, the world fears intensity. It exiles those who burn too brightly, who ask too loudly, who love without permission. But I say unto you, the exile is the inheritor. The castaway is the creator. The one who does not belong anywhere is the one who will build new worlds. Let them exile you, they are only sharpening your edge. The hunger in you is not a wound, it is the whisper of what you could be. A future screaming through the bars of the present, and most will never hear it. They will drown it in routine, sedate it with religion, numb it with entertainment. But not you, no, you will sit with your hunger. You will feed it stars and let it grow teeth. You will name it your God and follow it into the storm. Beware the tranquil. They are the most dangerous. They do not scream because they are already dead inside. Their smiles are tombstones. Their peace is purchased with obedience. And they will try to crucify you with kindness, wrap you in soft chains, seduce you with words like balance and stability. But remember, the lion does not ask for calm. The volcano does not apologize for eruption. You must betray the world before it betrays your soul. There is no loyalty to a system that amputates your spirit. There is no virtue in playing by rules written by ghosts. The only law is the law you write in fire, across your own flesh. You must become unlawful in the eyes of the old gods. Only then can you birth new heavens. Strip yourself of all borrowed truths, of inherited guilt, of sacred scripts written by trembling hand. Strip yourself until only the raw pulse of your own will remains. That is your altar, not the temples of tradition, not the shrines of the herd. Your own heartbeat against the silence of eternity, that is holy. Do not aim to live long, aim to live true, even if only for a moment so blinding it scorches centuries of lies. For the authentic are eternal, not in duration, but in depth. They do not pass, they pierce. They do not fade, they echo. Ask not, what should I do? Ask instead, what would a God do in my flesh? And then do it, without permission, without apology, without waiting for the stars to align. The stars do not align, they are aligned by those who dare. The war is not coming, it is here. It is in every compromise you make to be accepted, in every truth you swallow to keep the peace. In every moment you silence your roar to be nice. But niceness is not a virtue, it is a camouflage. And you were not born to blend in. You were born to tear the veil, to bleed the sky, to remind the earth that Titans once walked upon it. So rise again, you half-gods and unclaimed kings. Shake off your slumber, wipe the dream of safety from your eyes, and listen, not to me but to the voice that has always lived inside your bones. It does not speak in words. It howls, it laughs, it demands. Not a better life, a truer one. They built you a prison and called it a path. They named it success, but it smelled of rot. They dressed it in degrees and titles and polite applause, but beneath the velvet was a coffin. You walked it with good posture and dead eyes, thinking the goal was at the end, but the path is the lie. The goal is the leash, and every step you take to please them is a nail in your own myth. You are not meant to walk their straight lines. You are meant to spiral wild, erratic, divine. The spiral does not repeat, it deepens. It wounds, it burns, it descends into madness, only to rise with a crown made of scars. Do not be afraid of the descent. The abyss is not your enemy, it is your mirror. Those who avoid it remain surface dwellers, shallow enough to be satisfied. The soul is forged in contradiction, in love that devours, in rage that sanctifies, in terror that clarifies. You are not here to be balanced, you are here to be whole. And wholeness includes your chaos, your lust, your fury, your dark hunger for more. The light is a lie without the shadow behind it. Embrace the whole cathedral of your becoming ugly angels and beautiful demons alike. They will say you are too much. They will choke on your intensity and label it a problem. But their comfort is a mausoleum, and your fire exposes their decay. Let them retreat. Let them misunderstand. You are not sculpted to fit, you were summoned to explode, not to be digested by the world, but to disrupt its digestion of everything sacred. Silence is not peace. Stillness is not virtue. The silence of the herd is the sound of consent to a slow death. The stillness of the obedient is not wisdom, it is sedation. I ask you, when did you last move like a god? When did you last speak as if the universe had to listen? Your words are not noise, they are spells. Cast them with wrath, etch them in stone. Make your voice a cathedral. The cowards dare not enter. And love, yes, love must be volcanic, or it is a lie. Do not whisper affection. Shout it into the chaos. Tear your heart out and place it on the altar. Let the blood write a scripture that dares eternity to read it. Love like a revolution, not a transaction. Be possessed, not polite. Let it destroy you, resurrect you, make you unbearable to all who only know safety. You must become unbearable, not to punish, but to awaken, to hold up a mirror so raw, so true, that those who gaze into it either awaken or flee. Your presence should be a test, not a comfort. Your life, a provocation, not a performance. The world does not need more well-behaved dreamers. It needs sacred monsters, relentless creators, God-killers with golden blood. Do not wait for the future. The future is a myth peddled by those too afraid to live now. Now is the crucifix. Now is the battlefield. Now is where you die or rise or both. Eternity is not later. It is this breath, this choice, this unbearable now. Choose to burn. Choose to become. Choose to annihilate the version of you they find acceptable. Shed your roles like old skin. The son, the daughter, the employee, the citizen, rip them off. Beneath them is the unnameable, the sacred defiler. the whisper of the original fire. That is who you are, not this name-tagged mask, not this applause-chasing ghost. You are the scream before language, the hunger before form, the dancer before music. And do not fear death. Fear the unlived life. Fear the days spent waiting, the hours spent pleasing, the moments where you knew the truth but swallowed it to be liked. That is death, the slow erosion of your godhood under the acid of obedience. Better to die roaring than to live nodding. So go now, not forward but inward, not upward but deeper. The gods are not above you, they are within, waiting for your courage, waiting for you to stop kneeling, waiting for you to stop asking, waiting for you to claim the thunder and speak with it. You were not made for worship. You were made for war. Not against others, but against the sleep they call life. You feel it, don't you? The quiet violence of ordinary days. The soul-bleeding silence of empty clocks ticking in sterile rooms. The unbearable weight of nothing happening, of existing in a world that confuses routine with reality. They call it peace, but it is only the absence of pulse, a flatline dressed in ritual, a corpse wearing a calendar. You were not born for that. No, you were forged in the furnace of stars not to file papers and die insured, but to erupt, to defy gravity with each breath, to pull the divine out of your own marrow and hurl it into the sky like a challenge. And yet, you sit, you scroll, you nod, you forget. But forgetting is the original sin. Not against gods, but against yourself. You have forgotten the wildness of your origin, the sacred profanity of being alive, the thunderous right to contradict everything. You have forgotten how to hunger. They trained you to manage, to cope, to do your best. But coping is not a virtue. It is a leash worn with pride. Rip it off. Let madness reclaim its throne, not as pathology, but as the divine compass that leads you beyond the fences of sanity. Let your contradictions speak. Let your blasphemies dance. You are not here to agree. You are not here to belong. You are here to break the spell, to raise your voice against a sky that forgot how to weep. Everything around you is a seduction into sleep. The news, the apps, the curated joy of strangers you will never touch. It is a dream within a dream, and you are drowning in anesthetic laughter. But I ask you, when did you last bleed without flinching? When did you last scream and mean it? When did you last feel something that couldn't be explained? They've trained you to avoid discomfort like it's death. But discomfort is the beginning of truth. Pain is the prophet. Sorrow is the sword. These are not afflictions, they are awakenings. Do not cure them. Climb them, build altars atop them, and shout your new name into the void. And do not wait to be ready. Readiness is a lie invented by cowards. The fire does not ask the match if it's prepared. It burns. Begin now. Begin with your fear. Begin with your shame. Begin as the broken prophet dragging his soul across the coals. But begin. You think you need more time. But time is not real. What you call time is just the delay between knowing and acting. It is the sacred pause where your destiny dies quietly. Every second you hesitate is a betrayal of the God within. Act, even if you tremble, even if you fall, even if your voice cracks and your knees shake. Act. You will not be understood. Good. The understood are domesticated. Let them call you lost. Let them say you've changed. That is the highest compliment in a world addicted to sameness. If they can still recognize you, you have not yet become. You are still digestible, still safe, still asleep. Become unrecognizable. Let your metamorphosis offend the timid. Let your new eyes unsettle the blind. Let your tongue speak in storms. Your presence disrupt false harmony. Your every breath desecrate the temples of stagnation. You are not a person. You are a becoming, a holy chaos, a walking prophecy. And what of love? Love must be a crucifixion. If it does not destroy you, it is not love, it is comfort wearing a mask. Find the one who sees your shadows and does not flinch, who fans your flame, not your ego, who walks beside you into madness and calls it sacred. Anything less is a distraction. Look at the world with new eyes. See the gods that fell, the idols that rusted, the laws that once bound, now laughable in the face of becoming. You are not subject to this decay. You are the exception, the spark that refuses to die, the wild one who never forgot how to howl at the sterile moon. So howl, not for pity, not for help, but as a declaration, as a hymn of revolt, as the voice of a spirit that has torn the veil and seen the machinery behind the stars. Howl with such fire that the old gods wake from their slumber and remember what it means to tremble. You were not created to fit. You were summoned to fracture, not to preserve, but to destroy what does not bow before the altar of becoming. Every institution that asks for your obedience is an enemy. Every rule that demands your silence is a prison. Every comfort that numbs your edge is a theft. Reclaim it. Reclaim your edge. Sharpen it against the bones of the old world. Walk naked into the fire of your own making and do not flinch. You are not the ash. You are the spark. You are not the product of history. You are its interruption, its heresy, its rebellion clothed in flesh. And rebellion, true rebellion, is not noise, it is presence. It is the refusal to be absorbed. It is sitting in the midst of the banquet of delusion and flipping the table without apology. It is walking away, not out of anger, but out of sacred necessity. Go then, walk away. From roles, from praise, from all that asks you to betray your becoming. Walk into the wilderness of your own fire, and when the darkness laughs, let it. It does not know that you are darker still, for you were not born to worship the light. You were born to become it. You will be tempted again and again to return to the warmth of cages, to retreat into the dull arms of the familiar, to barter your flame for a seat at their table of ghosts. But remember this, they do not love you. They only love the version of you that does not disturb them. They love the quiet corpse of your potential, the agreeable echo of your truth. And every time you betray your fire to please their sleep, you dig your own shallow grave. But the wild in you remembers. It waits beneath your compromises like a lion beneath silk. It waits for the moment when the weight of your false self becomes unbearable, when the mirror no longer flatters, when the applause tastes like ash. That is the beginning not of despair but of revolt, holy revolt, divine insurrection. You must learn to walk alone not as punishment, but as initiation. Solitude is the forge of titans. Only in aloneness can the false gods die. Only there can you hear the original voice, the one not born of language, not filtered through culture, not shaped by trauma. The voice that is you, before you were explained, categorized, medicated, restrained. And once you hear it, you can never go back. You will try. You will attempt to unknow, to return to the gentle decay of normal. But the knowing will haunt you. It will stare back from every dull conversation, every fluorescent hallway, every clock ticking in a world of the undead. That is your blessing. That is your curse. You are marked now. You are not here to be whole. You are here to be holy. And holiness is fragmentation divinized. It is bleeding with purpose. It is chaos with a crown. It is suffering transfigured into strength, rage forged into revelation. Do not seek to be healed, seek to be transmuted, to become so broken that you cease to resemble anything they can name. Your soul is not a garden. It is a battlefield, a storm, a cathedral set aflame, so something new can rise from the bones. Tend it not with tenderness, but with sacred violence. Not cruelty, but clarity. The clarity to burn what no longer serves, to incinerate the scaffolding of false identity, to become not better, but real. and you will lose so much. Yes, prepare for loss, not of value, but of illusion. The death of friendships built on mutual smallness, the end of roles that made you shrink, the collapse of beliefs that once comforted but now constrict. Let it all go, let it fall like ash. Let the funeral be sacred, and from that funeral, rise not as who you were, but as what you must become. This world is not your enemy, it is your trial. Every insult, every rejection, every wound is a riddle. Not, why did this happen to me? But, what God is trying to awaken through me. The suffering is the hammer, the betrayal, the anvil, and you the sword not yet sharpened. So suffer well. Suffer with eyes open. Suffer with the knowledge that this pain is birthing a presence the world has never seen. And when the old you begs to be saved, don't. Let it die, let it weep and wail and make its case. But do not resurrect what you were never meant to keep. That version of you was survival. It got you here, but it cannot take you further. Thank it, bury it, walk on. You are becoming myth, and myths do not apologize. They do not ask for understanding. They erupt, they echo, they carve new laws into the bones of time. You are not here to be remembered as a good person. You are here to make the gods weep with recognition, to make the stars jealous of your blaze. You have been chosen not by fate, but by fire. Not to lead others, but to embody what cannot be led. You are not a shepherd. You are the wolf that reminds the flock they were once wild. Your presence is permission, not in words but in being, and the world will hate you for it. And the world will need you for it. So step now into your next death, the next skin you must shed, the next betrayal you must commit, and do it not with regret, but with sacred rage, with laughter that terrifies the timid, with eyes that see through facades, with hands that build altars from your own bones. You are not done. You are never done, because becoming has no end, only deepening. And you, stormborn, are infinite. And now you stand at the edge, no applause, no guide, only the silence of what must be done. Behind you, the ashes of your former selves still whisper, still beg, still wear the face of safety. Before you, the unknown, vast and breathing, the sacred wilderness where gods are born from solitude and hunger. There is no map, there is no promise. Only this, you were never meant to return. Let others worship at the altar of answers. You shall kneel only to the question that burns eternally. Let others chase legacy. You are here to annihilate history and speak in fire. Let them build statues. You are the earthquake. Let them write laws. You are the chaos that renders law irrelevant. Let them cling to meaning. You are the void that dares to create it. You do not need light. You are light, violent, divine, unspeakable. Not the glow of comfort, but the blaze that blinds and reveals. The light that destroys illusions like morning kills dreams. The kind of light that cannot be tamed, cannot be sold, cannot be forgotten. You are not alone. You are singular. There is a sacred difference. Aloneness is their prison's singularity, is your throne. From it, you do not lead, you radiate. And those who can withstand your heat will find you, not as followers, but as echoes, not to be saved, but to burn beside you. The holy few who also remember the scream. So scream again, not with mouth, but with life, with the choices that rupture narratives, with the love that shatters safeties, with the silence that speaks louder than commandments. Scream with how you walk, how you refuse, how you continue. They will not understand. Good. Understanding is the enemy of becoming. Let them name you mad. Let them call you arrogant. Wear their fear like a crown. For what they fear is what they have forgotten. That man was never meant to be tamed. That, within every ribcage, a god still pounds its fist against the walls of history. Now go. Not forward, not backward. Go inward and deeper still, into the catacomb of your own fire, into the storm that made you, into the silence from which the first gods screamed. And when you emerge, if you ever do, it will not be as a man, nor a woman, nor any name they know. It will be as the roar, as the tear in the sky, as the hunger that resurrects stars. You will walk the earth not looking for truth, but being it,